And start recording. All right. Hello, I'm Rick Bueckert, and today we're going to be doing the setup portion of how to do how to create a customer reactivation campaign using automation. So today we are going to go through setting up a Keap account so that you can have automation do all this for you. And the first part of all that is going to be to get the account set up. This is being recorded. I will have it up on YouTube probably later on this afternoon, and I will also be putting in a transcript with a step-by-step on how to do all this. So today is a setup. Tomorrow will be the actual building the campaign and creating the emails and text messages. And then the last day is going to be implementation. There will be a little bit of homework tonight, and that is to get a list ready so that we can upload it on day 3 and start the automation and reactivate some past customers. So let's get started. I'll share my screen. And all right, you should be able to see a Keap home screen. So I'm just going to move this over a bit so that I'm not looking off into space on you. It looks like I actually am not staring away from the camera. All right, so to get started, I'm going to have the chat open, so if you have any questions, I can see it as we move along here. Where's the chat button? There it is. And we will go from there. So the first thing you're going to do is there anyone that doesn't have an app? Just to make sure we've got everyone. No, nothing in the chat, so we look like we're good to go. All right, so this is the home screen that you will see when you load a Keap app. And right now I've got an empty one here, so I will be doing this along with you. Up here in the top right corner, you're going to see a little button. This one has my initial R in it. Yours will have whatever your initial is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click that, and you're going to go to Settings, and that's going to open up this list. And basically what we're doing today is we're going to be going through this list and doing the setup. So the very first thing you want to be doing is clicking My Profile, and this is the first one on the top. You'll see that your first and last name is put in there automatically, and this is also your login information. So when you go to get into the app, this is the email address you're going to be using to get into your app. You can put a title in if you want, and then I usually recommend putting the first number as your mobile number, and if you have a work or home number that you use, put that in the second line. The company name, and you will find if you watch the way I type, I am a lousy speller, as you can see from here, because this should be an E, and this should say business, not business. And web address, if you have it, put that in there. Street address. Province or state. And then hit update. And you will also see that it will update your signature at the bottom here as we move along. You can also add an image to here by coming up to the top where the circle is. So if you have an image, you can add it there. You can upload it. I am going to just add one for mine. And we'll use this one. And it's too big. That's not the one I want. Where is my other one? That one. And there you go, and you all see now that it updates it down here at the bottom. So this will be previewed on all of your signatures. Again, hit update just to make sure everything is there. And this section is now done. So back up to my profile. And if I am going a little quick and you want me to slow down so that you can do this, just pop something in the chat and I will slow down a little bit. Next one is my account. There's actually nothing to do here. This is just if you do decide to keep the app down the road, this is just the information on what the app is, how many contacts, how many users, that kind of thing. So we'll get out of there. Next one is your business profile. So here is where you're going to put a little bit of information into your app. So in my case, I've already got the name in there. Business type for this one is education and coaching. So you would want to put whether it's services or education or whatever type is there, you'll have to go through and pick one. Now, business email, this can be different from your login email. So hopefully you used an email that you're never going to get rid of during the time you will have your business, because that will be your login if you decide to keep it. Business email, now I've just stuck a generic one in here, being my name at a Gmail account. But if you wanted to use a role account, something like sales or info at your business name, that is where you would put it here. If it's going into a mail account that is not necessarily specifically going to you, but could be going to an administrator or an assistant or something like that. So you would put that email there. Business phone number, this would be the one that you would use the majority of the time. And this may not always be the most common one that you're going to be using, but you should put your cell number in there for now, and we'll get onto that a little later, because we are going to add a business number, which is going to allow you to send text messages in and out of the system without using your actual your personal phone. So we're going to do that. Again, business site, if you want to put it in there, would go there. Country and your address and everything else. And do make sure you set your time zone. And the reason for setting the time zone is because the system has the ability to send emails to someone in their time zone. So for example, if you had a client or a prospect in Vancouver and you wanted to send it at 8 a.m. their time, when the system knows what time they're in and what time you're in, it'll send it an hour later than what it would send here. So that's the reason for that. So you want to make sure your time zone is there. And if you have a logo, you would put that in. I've made up one just to stick in there for now. Ideally, you want these to be 300 by 300 pixels. And if you have the ability to compress the image, you want to do that simply because it will load faster. Once all this is done, click Update Business Profile, and this page is now done. So we're going to back out. Users. So this would be, I don't know why Bill Stamps there. Oh, I know why. This was the sandbox account. So what you would do here is you would, I'm just going to get rid of him and make sure that goes away. So if you want to add a user, this is if you are, again, if you have an assistant or anyone else, and you can add extra people into the system so that they can do work for you. So in my case, I've invited Melody to come in here, and that way I can assign certain things for her to do that are not necessary. So to do that, you would just click Add User. And when you do this, the system is going to send them login information first. So all you need to do here is enter first name and their email, and then you have to pick a role. So depending on what you want them to be able to see and access, you would pick a role. So admin is, they have full access to everything. So If you are going to give admin access to somebody else, make sure you trust them completely, because they will have the ability to delete you from the system. So be very cautious using that one. Limited admin is usually a better choice rather than giving people admin access. The limited admin will not allow them to add or delete admin users. So you're protected that way. Manager role, again, this one has permission to do everything except manage users and merchant account information. So if you are going to do any type of billing or sales through the system, you want to make sure that you don't give them admin, because they will have the ability to change your billing information. So you don't want to do that. Staff is the lowest amount of access. They can basically only see their own contacts, their own tasks, and their own deals. So if you had a staff member who is dealing with, let's say 5 different people, the only contacts they will be able to see are those 5 people. The last one is a Keap partner, and that would be for someone like me. Partners do not count against your user counts. So if you have someone, for example, like myself, that comes on and is going to be helping you with the account, you can assign us a seat, but it does not count towards your limit. And the reason they allow for that is there are some partners that do, for example, pay-per-click, that you may want to give them access to it, and then you can add multiple partners that way. So you can actually have more partners than users, which I actually see more often than you might think. So that is how you would add additional user. Going back up. Payment processing and currency. Now here you have a couple of options. I've already connected one, so you can see this one that there are 3 standard, no, pardon me, no, there are 4. They've added authorized now. So there are 4 ways where you can take payments right out of your app, and that is if you ever send out an email that gives someone a link to buy now or to purchase. You can do that right from the email. You don't have to take them out of the system, make a phone call, have them come in, everything. So you can do that right through here. We use WePay simply because it's robust, it's simple, setup is really easy, and it's a flat fee and 30 cents. So there's no, you don't get the statements where it shows, this card got charged 1% and this charge got 5%. It's just a flat number across all of it. You can also change the currency. So in my case right now, I have Canadian. We also do bill our US clients in US dollars. So in our case, you cannot flip back and forth within the app. There is a way to bill outside of the system if you do need a second currency. If you do, then just give me a call and we'll set it up. So Square D is apparently on the list. So it's coming. They're adding more all the time. They used to have a bunch. They took a bunch of the obscure ones out, and they're adding the more common ones back in. Is a logo as good as a pic? Sure. As long as it's not too big in size. Because just keep in mind, images tend to chew up a lot of memory, which means that it's going to slow down the loading. That's why there's a limit on the maximum size for the file. So you may have to compress it or shrink it, but sure, no reason not to. Other ones are that are accepted are PayPal, Stripe, and Authorized.net. PayPal, to be honest, their system is a little clunky. You can use it. It doesn't have a problem on the setup side, but it's probably the one that we get the most common calls about. It's not working, what's wrong with it, and it's almost always on the PayPal side. So I would say at this point either stick with WePay or Stripe. So the nice thing with WePay is that when we're billing stuff, it's usually in the account the next morning. It is really quick. and you get notifications of when stuff's coming through. So products and services. So here is where you would add any type of product or service that you want to put in into an email. And down the road, on tomorrow, I'm also going to show you how you can add a product or service and trigger automation off a purchase so that you can, for example, automatically send a thank you. So we're going to do one now. So I'm just going to click it, add a product or service. This would be a deluxe widget. And the description is going to be exactly the same, and price is going to be $79.95. Hit add, and that's it. You now have a new product or service. Keep in mind that this is not a full-blown invoicing system, so you will need to create another one, as Egbert pointed out, called GST. Now, here you'll leave the price blank because you're going to manually add those as they go along, so just put 0.01 for the time being. And that will add a couple of items for you. Let's move further along. Integrations. Now, this is where things can get a little fun. So the two standard integrations are through Google and Microsoft. As you saw earlier on the payment page, and this is why I said PayPal gets a little clunky, is you have to add PayPal as integration, and then you can add them in as a payment source. Google is by far the easiest and most robust one, and this will allow you to send and receive email from within the app. And same with calendar. So right now you can see I've already got my calendar connected. If you want to disconnect. The reason that calendar and Gmail are separate is, for example, in my case, all of my calendar sits on one Gmail account. But for example, in this business, I might be sending my email from a different account. So this allows me to connect. All I have to do is choose the one I want, hit allow, and the calendar is now connected, and it will walk you through an initial appointment setup. So the system is going to have the ability it's going to give you the ability for your prospects or clients to book a call or time with you. So let's just call this a 30-minute consult. And you have the option of either using your business name instead of your personal name in the link. And I don't know how well it's going to show up on your screen, but this link here right now, the link that they will see is letsmeet.io, my name, and then 30-minute consult. If I switch this over and click it, it's now going to take my name out, and it's going to put, in this case, Small Business Marketing Academy. So you could have the business name show up instead of your personal name. If you're using assistants or if you're rotating people through, I would recommend the business name. If they are going to be talking to you, I would recommend you leave it as your name so that there's less confusion and they know who they're talking to. Last, you choose the location where this will take place. It can either be online, by phone, or in person. If you click online, you can send them the online meeting link, or you can ask them to use their own. If it's phone, you give them the option of you will call them, or you ask them to call you. And if it's in person, you can choose the location, or you can let the person you're sending the invitation to choose the location. So for example, if you're a dentist, obviously you're going to choose the location because it's pretty hard to do dental cleanings on site. They have to come to you, so you would put the address there. For now, I'm just going to put online, and that will, I missed something here. Oh, use my link. There we go. So I'm just going to put a fake link in here for now, just because I don't have time to do it. And then you hit next. Next thing you're going to tell is how long the appointment is. So this will be 30, 45 minutes. We said 30. Buffer time is to prevent the system from putting appointments back to back to back with no gaps. So you have a choice of either adding time before or after an appointment, or both. So for example, if we put 15 minutes before and after, it means that you will actually have 30 minutes between appointments, because it'll have 30-minute or 15-minute delay after an appointment, then it'll add a 15-minute prep time, and then it'll put the next appointment on. So you will get 30 minutes between each 30-minute meeting for you to do whatever you need to do. Availability, and this is where you can set your times. So you can set it by days of the week and by times. So for example, for Monday here, we've got 9 to 5. I could then also add, let's say I want to take a time off for dinner, I could add 6 to 8 p.m. on top of it. So it would now be more, and so I've got that 1 hour break. I could also take Wednesday and I could make it unavailable. So there are set times that you can do this, and this is totally customizable in the increments that you've set up here. Click next for the last one. And you now have an option to give pre-appointment instructions, which you can toggle on here and add, or you can take it off. And you now are going to tell it which calendars that it should look at to determine availability. So obviously the one I want to look at is the one I initially set up, but I could also have it look, for example, at Melody's calendar as well. So you can switch that off. Now in my case, everything is on one calendar, so that's fine. Once you hit finish, your link is now set up. Now you have a couple options here. So here's your link, which is right there. If I hit preview, so this will let you see what times are available. So let's say Monday, and you can see what times are available for me on Monday. If I click here, and it will allow me to enter my information. And the checkbox here, I'd like to receive important emails from me, is so that you can have people opt into your email list. So I would always suggest you have that pre-checked and build your email list that way. And back, you'll now see there are 3 other options. So there is email link. So this is where you can write an email and say, to book a time with me, click here, and you can put the link there. Copy link is the same thing, so you can do that. Embed on your website is a little different, and this one allows you to put, I'm just going to go back, it allows you to put this inside your website. So if you have the desire to let people book appointments and show it right on your website, there is an embed link here that you can use for that, and that's what this one is. So if I copy that, and you'll see it's in iframe, and all you would do is you would copy all of this and you would paste that into your into an HTML section on your website, and it will actually build that that link right onto your site. So just click copy code and paste it in, and that will do that for you. Click done, and we are now done with the calendar. Connecting a Gmail account, the one I set up for this was this one down here. Of course it wants me to verify it. Good old Google. And we will just do that right quick. And we'll probably say, is it you? Or it may not, because it's Google. Ways to verify. Let's just send a text message. All right, so 474750. And that email account is now connected. So when you'll see that when it connects, it is going to make Outlook unavailable because you can't have both. So this one is connected, that one's connected. If you use QuickBooks Online, you can connect it. And unfortunately, Melody's not here. This is a one-way push. I just forget which way it is now. And again, PayPal if you want to use them. So those are your connections. You'll see that Google says pending. This will take a little while for them to connect because they like to do their little verification thing. Tags. Now, right now, there are some tags in here because I've been working in this account before. But what a tag is a tag. There are two ways to add information to a contact, one of which is create a field, and the field will hold specific information to a client. So for example, their address would be a field because it would be relative, theoretically it should be unique, notwithstanding you're a dentist and have family members, but they will each have the address will be a relatively unique field. Tags are just the opposite. So tags give you the ability to sort prospects by group. So you could have a tag for blue eyes. You could have a tag for example, that they are a dental hygiene client. You could have a different tag that says they are an implant client if you're a dentist. You could have a third tag that could say they're a veneers patient. So the advantage to that is that you can now start to sort your contact list by tag. So you could say, give me a list of everyone who is a hygiene client that has implants that does not have veneers. And the system will go through and it will sort those out for you and show you who those are. Once you start to build up your list of contacts, tagging gives you the ability to get very granular in your marketing. So for example, if you were going to have a special for a certain group of patients or prospects, but you did not want people who are already getting that product or service to see the special, you would use your tags to say, show me everyone that doesn't have this specific tag, and send everyone else this offer. So it does take a little bit of work ahead of time to think through what your tags should be and how you want to break it out. Now you can add them on the fly, but the more that you can do ahead of time, the easier it is to build your campaigns out because you already know how you want to sort them out. So there's no reason to add any tags right now because when we upload our list, we are going to upload a tag that says past customer, and we're going to upload another tag that says uploaded on this date, so that you will know down the road how they came into being. That's tags. Lead form. So you'll see here that the lead form is pretty much already set to go, and it's because it's taken the logo I made earlier and it's added it to it, and it's taken the company name that I've added to it. And you can edit this form because this is how you are going to allow prospects to enter their information into your system so you can follow up with them. So for example, if you had a special report on find out how today's throne speech is going to negatively affect your retirement, for example. You could now have a form set up for this where they could go and they could get that report. Now you may or may not want to have all this information. There's two ways to look at information on a form. The more information you request, the lower your response rate is going to be. However, the flip side of that is a better prospect than someone who just opts in with an email address. So it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to build a list quickly, you may want to edit the form, and you may want to remove a whole bunch of stuff. So we go there, and we don't want their phone number or their phone type, and we don't want to leave a note. So if we go back now, all that is here now is an email address. So this will get the highest amount of response, but it will be the lowest quality of prospect. So it's always, keep that in mind. One of the things that is Egbert trying from Chris? Okay, let me see if I can shorten this up a bit. Did that make it bigger? I could try shortening it that way too. How's that? Better. All right, good. I got a thumbs up there. All right. The less you put in here, again, more response, less quality. The more you add in, more quality, less response. A lot of times, for our stuff, I will want first name, last name, email, and I will want a cell number so that we can send them a text confirmation or text reminders. So this form is also editable, as we just saw. Why is my phone ringing? It's off. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Smart forms. Now, smart forms are, when we're not going to create one right now. We're going to do this tomorrow. But what a smart form is this is a form that you will use. So let's assume that you have two types of lead generation running, and you're a physiotherapist. So one smart form might be for somebody who is suffering from back pain, and the other smart form might be someone who is got knee pain, for example. So you'll have two smart forms, and what you'll do is you will use the back pain form when somebody calls in saying they have back pain, because that form is going to be used to trigger automation down the road, and it allows you to use the form to decide where they are going to go and what path they are going to be on. So again, this takes a little bit of thought ahead of time for planning, but so for example, do you mind if I use you as an example there for a second, Egbert? Okay, so for example, Egbert could have two different kinds of clients. One could be a realtor and the other could be a home buyer. So the realtor will likely want to know different things than what the home buyer will want. For example, how quickly can you get in and out, because we want the sale to proceed quickly, whereas the home buyer information is probably going to want information more of, how good are you at doing what you're doing. So it's two different streams of information that you're going to be looking at doing. And with the system, you would create a separate smart form for each possible entry point so that you are able to customize what you have going out. Privacy and compliance. Pretty much everyone here will not need to use any of this. There are two privacy controls available. HIPAA is for medical and dental, where you are keeping health information. GDPR, which is the second one, right now really only applies if you're going to be talking to anyone who's in Europe that is covered by GDPR. So for the majority of clients, if they are on anything, it is on HIPAA only. And when you select it and hit save, all it does is it makes sure that the data that is stored at the other end is compliant. If you do select GDPR, if you think there's any other chance that you will be doing it in Europe, it is going to be asking for who's responsible for your security, who your data protection officer is, and you are going to have to accept the addendum that says you're responsible for the data protection. So I don't recommend using GDPR unless you are European for some reason. Going back out. Email authentication. Now, email authentication is becoming more of an issue. You cannot authenticate email coming from an account like Gmail or Yahoo, Hotmail, any of those. So you cannot authenticate any of those. What that means is, and the way that email authentication works is, when you send an email out from your mail server and it arrives at the receiving mail server, the receiving mail server is going to ask the sending server either for an SPF framework or a domain key or some other way that they can say, yes, this is a legitimate email coming from this domain, and I should actually give it to the intended recipient. There is far more spam sent every day than a legitimate email, and it's about 3 to 1. And the reason you don't see very much of it in your email account is because your receiving server is filtering a lot of that out. If you don't authenticate, there is a very good chance that your email may not show up at the other end. And the problem is that to the recipient, it just never showed at all. It's not in the spam folder, it's not in the inbox, it's not anywhere. So we recommend, if you are using a hosted account like Gmail or Hotmail or something else, stop using it for business, because your emails are not going to go through much longer. Just get we recommend G Suite just simply because again, it's super simple, it's robust, it's $7.80 Canadian per account per month. It's really cheap, and their deliverability is exceptionally good.